Hello, everyone, and welcome to Essential Tools for Job Seekers. My name is Dwayne Kreinbrink, and I'll be with you today as we run through this workshop, Essential Tools for Job Seekers, available through Iowa Workforce Development. One thing to note, this workshop is designed to be general information and guidance. Not all guidance will fit you perfectly. So if you have any questions or concerns about a specific area, please reach out to the person who may have referred you to this workshop or to your local IowaWORKS office for further guidance. So our plan today in this workshop is to offer an overview of the IowaWORKS One-Stop Center and the services offered there. A number of the services are offered by the office itself and the employees there, as well as the core partners and other services that are housed in the centers. We'll also review some of the services available to you to find your next job and hopefully offer some tips in your job search. In short, what we want to do is stock your toolbox with tools you can use to land your next job. So the first thing you will need to do is to get registered in IowaWORKS.gov. Now, IowaWORKS is a powerful job search tool and is Iowa's largest job bank, and it's available at no additional cost to you. Inside IowaWORKS.gov, you'll find skills assessments. We can offer these assessments and career exploration that will match your skills, knowledge, and abilities with available job opportunities that are out there. We also offer resume and cover letter assistance and interview tips and practice through in-person or virtual mock interviews. You can get practice live with a career planner to polish up those answers to those tough interview questions. We can also offer job referrals and job leads. Our career planners know what's out there for jobs and who might be hiring and who's not. Take advantage of this knowledge at your local office and get help with job leads. If you come into the office, you can use our computers for job searching and get as much or as little help as you need. If you're self-sufficient, you could get on a computer at 8 o'clock in the morning and spend all day there and do what you need to do on your own for your job searching endeavors. You can also schedule one-on-one assistance with resume or interviewing practice through an appointment and schedule some time with a career planner to get assistance with job searching, resume, interviewing, whatever your needs may be. Some other services we offer are those unemployment services. You can get assistance with unemployment claims, from helping file initial claims to assisting with those ongoing weekly claims. We can help you through the process of filing those weekly certifications, do your job searching and your job applications. You can work on all your job seeking activities on our computers here in the center, or get that one-on-one assistance if that's what you need. Basic computer classes, if you'd like to learn some basic computer skills. Maybe you don't have the skills you need. Inquire at your local office. Each office will have their own schedule and offerings of what they've secured for basic computer classes. Some offices will have a career planner teach their own classes. Others will work with a local community college to put on classes. Each has their own way of doing things, so consult your local office to see what's offered there. Office proficiency assessments are offered. They offer the typing test and maybe other office assessments. Some jobs require a typing test score to be considered for employment, and this is a proctored test done at your local office. Again, it might only be offered at certain days and times, so if that's something you need, a proctored office proficiency assessment typing test, reach out to the center if that's what you need. We offer job readiness workshops. You're watching one of them right now. There's an entire schedule of workshops that comes out each month. Take advantage of these workshops. Go in with an open mind, and you're sure to learn something from each one of them. Meet and greets, hiring events, job fairs. Each office has their own schedule of these, and so what that looks like, how often they're offered, and their schedule will vary at each office. Rosetta Stone. This is a language learning program that if you went out on the internet and purchased it on your own, it would cost you hundreds of dollars. We offer it at no additional cost to you at our offices. You just need to commit to using it for so much each month to keep access to it. So again, speak to your local office and get this lined up if that's something you're interested in. The National Career Readiness Certificate is a job readiness assessment that will test you in workplace documents, graphic literacy, and applied math. Now, each of these tests takes roughly an hour, and you could take one at a time. You could take all three in one sitting or any combination of that. You can also retest after a certain amount of time to try to raise your score. So how the scoring works, you can score platinum as the highest, then gold, silver, bronze, and no score. Your level of proficiency is the lowest of your three scores. So if you had two golds and a silver, you could try to take that silver test again to try to raise it to a gold to get a gold certificate. Now, there are practice resources available to prepare for the test or for retests. Inquire at your local office to make these available. Some employers require a certain score on this test. Others like to see it as a bonus for you, while honestly, most may not even know what it is. But I think it's a great indicator of your work readiness and would highly recommend you taking the National Career Readiness Certificate. So how can Iowa Works help you? What we're going to do is go over some of the services available at your local Iowa Works office, and we're going to start with these: Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV. Now, Title I is the Adult Youth and Dislocated Worker Program. Title II is Adult Basic Education, which covers English Language Learner and the High School Equivalency, or HiSET. Title III is Wagner-Pizer, and Title IV is Vocational Rehabilitation, or IVRS. Title I is the Adult Dislocated Worker and Youth Programs. Title I provides education, vocational, and independent living skills. The goal here is to help participants move towards self-sufficiency. What they're trying to do is to assist an individual to gain upskilling through post-secondary education or experiential learning. The program serves people by providing one-on-one career planning, completing an objective assessment, identifying a career path goal, and reducing barriers that will lead to their success in meeting their goals. Now, for all Title I programs, a person must be a citizen or eligible to work in the U.S., reside in the service area being served by the program that they're applying to, and be registered with Selective Service if they're required to be. A Title I Career Planner can provide you with more details on the eligibility process. The Title I Adult Program applicant must be 18 years or older, in addition to the other requirements of being a citizen or eligible to work in the U.S., registered with Selective Service, residing in the service area. They must also meet eligibility through their income or ability. Now, their household must be receiving or has received public assistance in the past 6 months, be low income or basic skills deficient. Title I Career Planner can provide more details on what is qualified as low income or basic skills deficient. A dislocated worker is someone who has been terminated or laid off or has received notice of termination or layoff. They're eligible for unemployment insurance or have exhausted their unemployment insurance benefits and are unlikely to return to that occupation. Title I Career Planner will have more information and details on eligibility and definitions there. Now, for the Title I Youth Program, there are 2 tracks available. To be an in-school youth, an individual must be 14 to 21 and low income and one of these: basic skills deficient, attending ELL classes, be justice involved, currently in or aged out of the foster care system, pregnant or parenting, or have a disability. Title I Career Planner will have more information and details on the eligibility process. Now, for out-of-school youth, a person must be 16 to 24, not attending any school, and one of these: a high school dropout, attending HiSET, be basic skills deficient, attending ELL classes, be justice involved, homeless, currently in or aged out of the foster care system, pregnant or parenting, or have a disability. So what would make a person a good Title I enrollment? Well, a good Title I enrollment would be someone who's eligible for programming, first of all, is an active participant, and who consistently communicates with a career planner. They're able to live and work independently, are motivated to change, and see the need for assistance in reaching their career goals. Services available from Title I would include on-the-job training, work experience programs, individualized career planning, assessments, individual employment plan, tuition assistance, and supportive services to assist with barriers including transportation, tools, books, childcare, and others. Now, Title I programming includes adult education services, including English language learner and high school equivalency. For the English language learner program, it's a multi-level English instruction. It's designed to move learners from a beginner level to a solid intermediate level of proficiency. Some of the skills covered include listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and also improving pronunciation and building vocabulary. The desired outcome here is the ability to communicate in English according to the situation, purpose, and roles of the participants. To be eligible for English language learner, an individual must attend the registration appointment, be 18, and no longer attending high school, cannot be in the country on an international student visa. The expectation of an ELL student would be a commitment to making changes that will improve their chances of getting and keeping a job. Commitment to attending at least 80% of scheduled class hours, that would be 3 to 4 days a week, and a commitment to complete homework outside of class. Now, for a HiSET enrollment, this is a program to educate students to a comparable level to a high school graduate. It's an alternative for those who, for whatever reason, never finished high school. There could be a number of reasons why, and it doesn't really matter, but they want to complete that now. HiSET has replaced the GED as Iowa's tool for awarding a high school equivalency diploma. A HiSET student must attend any intake and orientation meetings, must be at least 16 years and 9 months of age, must not have a U.S. recognized high school diploma, must be unenrolled from high school, and must complete a CASAS test for placement. A HiSET student must be willing to make changes to their life that will improve their chances, again, of getting or keeping a job, a commitment to attend classes 2 to 4 days a week, and a commitment to complete homework outside of class. And moving on to Title III, which is a Wagner-Peiser enrollment. This focuses on those basic employment skills, things such as job searching, career pathway research, resume and mock interview assistance, as well as unemployment assistance. A Wagner-Peiser enrollment is required for those one-on-one assistance meetings in reaching career goals, as well as certain program enrollments, a prerequisite to other program enrollments. A Wagner-Peiser enrollment takes just a few minutes to complete and gives you access to Iowa's largest job bank, labor market information, veteran services, job fairs, career and skills assessments, one-on-one resume and job searching assistance, mock interviewing, unemployment assistance, and office proficiency assessments. A Wagner-Peiser enrollment takes just a few minutes to complete, but it opens the door to a number of services, especially those one-on-one services in the IowaWORKS office. Now, Title IV is vocational rehabilitation and the Iowa Department for the Blind. To be eligible for IVRS services, you must have a mental or physical impairment, which must constitute or result in a significant impediment, and voc rehab services are seen as required to prepare you to, again, obtain, maintain, or advance in employment. A good IVRS enrollment would be someone who has a physical, mental, or learning condition that results in barriers to employment. An individual who is seeking assistance to obtain, maintain, or advance in employment, and an individual who believes that voc rehab services, such as job placement, training, or other job preparation services, would help them maintain or advance in a job. An individual who's willing to make changes in their life that will improve their chances of getting and keeping that job. Now, IVRS services available include assessments, evaluations, counseling, guidance, education and vocational training, Social Security benefits counseling, job placement, transportation assistance, home vehicle and workplace modifications, or assistance in starting a business. An Iowa Department for the Blind, or IDB enrollment, must have a visual impairment, must require vocational rehabilitation services due to functional limitations of blindness or low vision. A person must be blind, legally blind, or visually impaired. Available services here include career counseling and guidance, training assistance and support, job placement, accommodations and assistive technology, braille displays, screen reader software, screen magnifiers, or any other assistance depending on the client needs. So those were the Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV services. Now we're going to explore some other partner services, including Registered Apprenticeship, SNAP Employment and Training, CSEP, Ticket to Work, and GAP Tuition Assistance. Registered Apprenticeship is an industry-driven, high-quality pathway that helps Iowans advance in their careers and employers develop their workforce. Both adults and students can become apprentices in Iowa. There are hundreds of occupations that have apprenticeship programs. These programs pay you while you train. A registered apprenticeship is a model that gives you some on-the-job training and classroom instruction called RTI, or related training instruction. The key here is you will earn a wage as you train for the new occupation. So you'll start out basically with no skills, and as you gain knowledge and skills in the area, you'll increase your wages. Now, people generally think of registered apprenticeship and they generally associate it with trades such as plumbing, electrical, HVAC, but it's really exploded into areas like IT and the medical field. If you want to know more about this, visit workforce.iowa.gov/apprenticeship. With nearly 10,000 apprentices currently in Iowa, and they're looking forward to an average starting wage of $77,000 after their apprenticeship program completes. It's a great option for everyone seeking a new career. Next, what we're going to do is watch a video called When You're a Registered Apprenticeship, You Earn and Learn.
You're getting paid to go to school. You're getting paid to get a career and to learn something you can go anywhere in the country with.
We actually have our own apprenticeship school. So 4 to 5 weeks out of the year, you're going to school. And then the other weeks, you're obviously getting on-the-job training.
So we get a full 40-hour week as well as being taught something. And then once that's done, we get our license, and then usually that comes with a pay raise. But we got paid for that entire 4 years and still come ahead without no debt. So that's a big bonus.
I never realized how much schooling actually costs. And a 4-year regular schooling is, I think, an average of $24,000 a year. And if I plan on going that long, I was going to end up with $96,000 in debt. And with this program, I wasn't going to have to do that. I don't have any debt.
So when they get done, they graduate at the top of the pay scale. They have no student debt. They have a job already. They are fully covered by health and insurance the entire time.
And they're making a very strong wage with no student loan debt to service. We've really set them up to be able to, stay, live, have a family, and have a retirement.
It's really nice being able to work and learn, and I'm really getting paid to learn and go further in life and a career. So I really like that.
Hope you found that beneficial and informational for the registered apprenticeship. You earn while you learn. And if you have any more questions about registered apprenticeship, stop at a local IowaWORKS office and visit with a career planner there to get more information on registered apprenticeship. SNAP Employment and Training, or SNAP E&T, is a program to assist those on food assistance gain self-sustaining employment. With formal assistance from a career planner, participants can get skills training and education at no cost to them. Support services throughout the entire process help participants get career planning, training support, removing those barriers, case management, and job search assistance. To be eligible for the SNAP E&T program, a person must be on food assistance or awaiting eligibility determination, must be at least 18 years of age, and reside in the service area. We'll see the service areas on the next slide. Participants also must be seeking work or job search assistance and be ready and able to work now or within the next year. They can benefit from access to in-demand training and programs and support services that will help facilitate their success, get upskilling, and again, work towards self-sufficiency. Education services also include HiSET and ELL programs up to certificate and diploma programs, and even up to 2-year degree programs for many in-demand industries. What we're going to do now is we're going to watch a video called SNAP E&T in Action, Economic Impact, and we'll watch the video and learn more about the SNAP E&T program.
Here we are in a tight labor market where you hear employers saying that they can't get the skills that you need, and at the same time, you have families saying that they can't afford all of their basic expenses. We have to fill that gap, and that's where SNAP E&T comes in. The colleges do a wonderful job of working with employers and saying, what do you need us to teach? And then teach them and then hook them up with employment. I managed a phone store for about 4 years. The family I worked for, they ended up selling the business, so my hours were cut dramatically. I had a young child, so I kind of thought, what's the best route for me at this point?
Jamie started with us in the CNA program, and she has just been phenomenal to work with along the way, and it is just so great to see her progression. People that come into our center want to work. It's not that we don't want to do anything and we want food assistance because we want to sit at home. We just need to be able to feed our families while we're trying to do better for ourselves too. I talk to employers all the time that say, we need people, where are they at? Well, they're here. We just have to support them and help them get to the point where they need to be at to enter into those open jobs and those positions that are very difficult to fill right now in our economy.
Here at GMT Corporation, we've been in production machining now for 20 years. John Deere and Caterpillar are our two main customers in the production facility. There's a lot of machinists here that are going to be retiring in the next 10 years, 5 years, and it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for guys like Daniel coming in here, learning how to run the machines, and there's also management positions.
I've been employed at GMT for 7 months now. When I started off on a one-man cell, training with a veteran guy, and then now I'm in a two-man cell with 7 machines.
Manufacturing, IT, healthcare, those are big career pathway areas that we focus within our program and at the college.
There are a ton of opportunities. There's just so many places that need nurses.
The opportunity that we're providing with job training programs that is supported by SNAP E&T funding is an opportunity for people to gain both the professional skills as well as the technical skills, get that job, and then continue to develop in that job.
Having a job at Nordstrom's, it allows me to provide for myself, provide for others, and just be self-sufficient.
All of our participants, and this year we will have nearly 500 participants, will have had an opportunity to learn in a real operating business. And so that transition into their new role when they are employed by an employer in our community is much easier.
The SNAP E&T program is doing a couple of different things to help out the economy. One is the immediate resource of people. It's that human power that businesses are getting. Those people are also not only spending more, but spending more time in their communities. And our businesses can then expand beyond what they currently have too, and hire even more people, which is great for the local economy and great for the state.
As we look across the state of Washington, and there are SNAP E&T programs in every single county in the state of Washington, we have seen this tremendous movement in terms of employment and income earning power.
So why not invest in who we have here and help them help us as a community?
So I hope you learned more about SNAP E&T program there and found that informational, and how SNAP E&T is in action right now across the United States. SNAP ENT service areas are in the following areas. They're in Sioux City, Fort Dodge, Waterloo, Dubuque, Burlington, Ottumwa, Council Bluffs, and 2 Des Moines service areas. They're located at IowaWORKS offices specifically in the cities of Dubuque, Ottumwa, Sioux City, Fort Dodge, and Waterloo. They're also offered at Goodwill of the Heartland, the Central Iowa Shelter and Services, Des Moines Area Community College, Southeastern Community College, Hawkeye Community College, Kirkwood Community College, and Iowa Western Community College. They're also located and they're available virtually statewide at the Help Center and Codex Academy. Next is the CSEP program. This is the Senior Community Service Employment Program, also known in short as CSEP. It helps low-income Iowans age 55 and older find jobs. The program offers paid training opportunities, such as on-the-job training at nonprofit organizations and community service assignments. These opportunities help participants transition to regular jobs across Iowa. This training is for a limited time and serves as a bridge to unsubsidized employment for participants. Many programs across the state are housed right there in the IowaWORKS offices, so inquire about availability in your area at your local office. Next, we'll talk about the Ticket to Work program. Now, Ticket to Work is a federal program for 18 to 64-year-olds on SSDI or SSI who want to try out work. The ticket program is free and voluntary. It allows benefits to continue for a period of time while the ticket holder transitions to employment. So what we want to do now is watch another short video about the Ticket to Work program and choose work.
Are you age 18 through 64? Do you receive Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI, or Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, because of your disability? SSDI provides benefits to people with disabilities who have worked or have previously worked and paid enough into the Social Security system through payroll deduction or paying self-employment taxes. SSI makes payments to people with disabilities and who have limited income and resources. Are you interested in increasing your earning potential and finding fulfillment in the workforce? If so, Social Security's Ticket to Work program may be a good fit for you. Ticket to Work is a free and voluntary program. The program can help you decide if working is right for you and provide long-term support to help you find, keep, and advance in a job. Authorized ticket program service providers, such as employment networks or your state vocational rehabilitation agency, provide services such as career counseling, vocational rehabilitation, job placement assistance, and training. Employment networks can help with career counseling and assistance with job placement, including helping you understand how working will affect your benefits. Vocational rehabilitation agencies work with people who need more significant services to return to work or to work for the first time. This may include intensive training, benefits counseling, rehabilitation services, and education, which sometimes includes college courses. To learn more about other Social Security work incentives, see Social Security's Red Book by visiting ssa.gov/Redbook. If you're interested in participating in this free and voluntary program, call us at the Ticket to Work helpline. Our team is happy to verify your eligibility and answer any questions you have. For more information, call the Ticket to Work helpline at 1-866-968-7842. For TTY, it's 1-866-833-2967, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, or visit us online at choosework.ssa.gov. For information on work incentives, visit Social Security's Red Book at ssa.gov/Redbook. Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Hope you found that educational about the Ticket to Work program and what it's all about and how it might benefit you. Next, we're going to talk about the Gap Tuition Assistance Program. Now, Gap Tuition Assistance is a state of Iowa program that was established to provide funding to community colleges for tuition assistance. This program is aimed at enabling applicants to complete short-term, non-Pell eligible training programs for in-demand occupations. It's designed to upskill workers and to enter jobs with better pay and benefits to become self-sufficient. Eligibility for Gap Tuition Assistance would include the ability to complete a certificate program, to enter post-secondary program for credit, and ability to gain and maintain full-time employment. That's the key with all these programs, is to gain the ability to maintain full-time employment. And you also must be eligible to work in the United States. Some of the costs covered by Gap Tuition Assistance would include tuition and fees, support services, and any required books and equipment along the way to complete the training. Eligible high-demand program sectors include information technology, healthcare, advanced manufacturing, transportation and logistics, and any other industry deemed in demand by a local regional advisory board. Some common programs for Gap Tuition Assistance that are maybe close to universal across Iowa would include truck driver training and certified nursing assistant. Other common ones might be bookkeeping certificate, help desk technician, and programs like that. This program, again, designed to get people in, trained, and out working as soon as possible. Now, every college has their own programs that are covered under these training dollars. So contact your local community college to find out what's available in your area for free training. If you're a veteran or a spouse of a veteran, first of all, I want to thank you for your service or your support of a service member. You are eligible for priority of service at IowaWORKS and will have special perks awaiting you when you come in. You'll have reserved computer workstations, early entrance into IowaWORKS job fairs, and get moved to the front of the line for certain services. Please let us know when you come in if you're a veteran or spouse of a veteran when you check into your local IowaWORKS office. The Office of Veteran Workforce Services consists of dedicated team members who are also veterans, providing employment services to veterans, service members, and their families while strengthening our community and employer partnerships to make Iowa the state of choice for the military and their families. Both programs with Veteran Workforce Services provide one-on-one employment services and resources. So talking about Home Base Iowa and the Jobs for Veterans state grant. If you're a veteran, spouse of a veteran, or currently serving, you may be eligible for individualized services at your local IowaWORKS office. The individualized services you may be eligible for are resume writing, mock interviews, career guidance and coaching, referrals to available veterans resources and organizations, and other employment services. Again, come into the center, let them know you're a veteran, spouse of a veteran, or currently serving in the military, and we can get you to the right person for veteran employment services. The IowaWORKS for Veterans portal is a valuable tool for veterans that was developed to provide more direct information and resources. In the Veterans portal, you're able to pull up how to contact the Office of Veteran Workforce Services to find out what services you are eligible for. For program assistance, contact us using the Workforce Services form. This form will be reviewed upon receipt and get you directed to the appropriate contacts who will reach out to you. Or you can simply visit your local office and receive direct contact information there by letting them know you're a veteran, spouse of a veteran, or currently serving. So we're going to shift gears a little bit here and talk about getting started on the right foot in your job search. So you want to project your best image when you conduct your job search. You want to get a professional email address. You want to get a clean, plain one such as first name, last name at gmail.com, for instance. You don't want party animal such and such or mom of six at Gmail or something like that. You want something generic that doesn't give any information away about you other than your name. Have a professional voicemail set up and make sure it's set up and has room for messages. You want to clear out old messages. And how will you know what an employer will hear when they call your phone? Well, borrow a friend's phone and call your phone to find out what an employer might hear. If you find out it's not set up yet, get it set up and make sure it has room in the voicemail. Have a master resume written and save it on your computer or flash drive. Have everything on it, all your past jobs, the dates of employment, job skills, things you did on the job, everything from all your past positions. This way you can customize it to the particular job you're applying to, and you don't have to think of all the details each time you apply. So you can cut and paste all the skills that you need to apply for that next job right off that master resume. You want to track logins and passwords of places you've applied to. Now, most employers, as you know, may require you to set up an account with a username and password when you apply there. You'll think you remember all those usernames and passwords. You won't. You want to write them down. So many places have different rules on what you can use in the username and password, so you can't really have a universal one. So write those down and keep track of them somehow, either electronically or on paper. Unless a job posting says not to, you want to write and send a cover letter when you apply. This demonstrates your eagerness about the job, and it's another chance to highlight your skills and interest in the job. Take this extra step. Make the effort to stand out from others applying for the same position. This may also help you address some issues like gaps in your employment history. It'll present a narrative of your history and explaining gaps in the history. Also tie together, just connect the dots with the employer why you're the best fit for this job. Also, a functional resume may be used to stress skills in your work history rather than a strict chronological resume. You can learn more about resume types in the Create a Great Resume workshop and in the Next Level Resumes and Cover Letter workshop. Now, when it comes to applications and references, you want to follow the instructions given on the application form. Don't leave anything blank. How you fill out an application is also a test to see if you can follow instructions and your attention to detail. It's often an employer's first impression of how you can follow instructions and complete a form. So again, anything with a red asterisk is going to be required. Beware of autofill when filling out forms like this. It may not have the correct information saved when filling out the forms, especially if there's someone else who's maybe sometimes uses the computer you're using to fill out that application. Double check all that auto-filled information for accuracy. Again, it's paying attention to those details. Look for a confirmation email that may come after you complete an application. This is often sent and they're important to keep. Create a file in your email to save those. If you're involved with the RCM or RISIA programs, you'll know that they ask for one each time you meet. So get into the habit of saving those emails. It's also a great record. Keep track of when you exactly applied for the jobs you said you applied to. Have 3 to 5 references ready to supply upon request to a potential employer if they ask you for that. Speak to these people ahead of time, get their permission to use them as a reference, and make sure they would be available to respond if contacted by a prospective employer. Now, these should be former managers, supervisors, or coworkers who can speak to your work ethic and abilities. Now, you wouldn't include these people on your resume. You don't want to include references on your resume or references upon request or anything like that, but have them ready on a separate sheet of paper to supply upon request in an interview or someplace like that. Have that sheet of paper formatted with the same look and font as your resume and cover letter for consistency's sake. That way, when you get to an interview, you can give it to the employer then. Or if they ask for it by email, you can attach it as a document and email it back to them with your references there. There's some common interview mistakes out there. So the first is not being prepared. This is a big one. So what do you think it means to not be prepared? So here at IowaWORKS, we look at not being prepared as not being prepared to answer those questions you can kind of predict are going to come. You want to have answers prepared. You want to practice those ahead of time. And those would maybe include not knowing about the company. You want to know what products they sell. If there's a service they offer, what's their service area? Do they go out 20 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles? Do they have some sort of unique product they ship all over the world? You want to make sure you know about that. Know what their values are as a company. What is their mission statement? You want to know all these things about the company before you go into an interview to make sure you know everything you can about them and answer questions intelligently. Second one would being late. 10 minutes early is considered the sweet spot. Any more early to the start time, more than that, 5 minutes early, 4 minutes early, and then you start getting harried. They're going to wonder if you're going to show up. If you're there 20 or 30 minutes early, you'll just feel like you're in the way. 10 minutes early is the sweet spot. That's kind of when you want to show up for an interview. Dressing inappropriately, the standard rule is you want to dress one step above the job you're applying to. Generally, khakis and a button-up shirt are going to be pretty appropriate for most jobs out there. Lying about items during the interview and resume. Now, you will be found out, and often in cases, then they find out if you lied about something during your interview or on your resume. Often that's grounds for dismissal. So you'll want to learn to sell yourself, put yourself in the best light possible, but you don't want to make things up or lie about things during the interview or on your resume. Avoid using negative comments when describing a former boss or place of employment. We get it. It might have been the worst place in the world to work, but find something positive, something you learned, or a new skill you developed, something positive to describe that former place of employment. Displaying a bad attitude. Employers can spot that a mile away. Leave the bad attitude at home. Come in with a good attitude. That will go a long way toward establishing rapport and putting you in a favorable light with that new employer. Chewing gum, that's just a bad thing to do going into an interview. It doesn't show professionalism. Fidgeting, poor posture. Again, that might be something you're not confident in what you're doing. You want to, sit up straight and have good posture and don't fidget. Keep your hands down on your lap or whatever the case may be, and show confidence as you go into the interview. Talking too much, you might be nervous and give out too much information, things they don't need to know. And there might be a lot of other mistakes out there. Think about times when you've interviewed in the past, or maybe you've interviewed people and you've encountered some mistakes. And think about those and ways to keep those away when you go into interviews. Now, job searching and social media. So according to a recent survey by CareerBuilder, it found that 90% of employers are using social media to evaluate candidates. Of those who did that, 79% of those employers say they've rejected a candidate based on something they found on their social media feed. That's according, again, to a 2020 CareerBuilder article. So you may not like it, but it's the world we live in right now. So if there's something on your social media channels that may present you in an unfavorable light, take it down, lock down your privacy settings, whatever you need to do. If there are things maybe that friends have tagged you in or something like that, ask they take that down. You just don't want any red flags come up in a hiring manager's mind. Again, you may think it's unfair or it's not right. We can argue about it all day, but it's what reality is. And maybe you're thinking, you know what? If that's what would disqualify me from a job, then I don't want to work there anyhow. Fair enough. Just recognize it exists and be aware of it, and then do with that information what you want. Also, if you're on Facebook, you can like your local Iowa Works office on Facebook and check those posts for job listings, job fairs, hiring events, job search, interviewing tips. Search Iowa Works and the city your office is in, so Iowa Works Sioux City, Iowa Works Des Moines, whatever the case may be, to find your local office on Facebook. Next, we want to show you an IowaWORKS practice account here. Now, this is designed to look just like your IowaWORKS account that you have as well. And we're going to demonstrate some things in this IowaWORKS account to help your job search along, show you some features of the IowaWORKS account to hopefully make your life easier and help you find that next job sooner. First of all, what we want to demonstrate is the resume section in IowaWORKS.gov. Now, again, always several ways to get to something in IowaWORKS. You can always get to something down here, the resume builder down here, in the job seeker services widget down here. Easiest way for a lot of things in IowaWORKS is to look at these icons up at the top of your screen. Now here we see one that says resume, so we're going to go ahead and click that. It's going to pop open some other opportunities here we have. So it'll show you creating a resume manager, and several things over there. It'll show you some resumes we already have stored in IowaWORKS.gov. So if we wanted to create a new resume, we could just simply click that plus button there. And it will show us some opportunities, some things here. So I have a resume file I want to upload into IowaWORKS.gov. I have an existing IowaWORKS resume that maybe I want to duplicate and edit. We can do that in IowaWORKS. Or I don't have a resume at all. And you can click that and it'll give you two options there. I would like help creating a resume, or I'm comfortable doing it myself. And so you can walk through a resume wizard and you can create a resume to store in your IowaWORKS account there as well. So lots of options there in the resume section in IowaWORKS.gov. Create a resume, resume manager, you can edit, you can duplicate, you can create a new resume, all that right there in IowaWORKS in the resume section. So let's go back to our dashboard in IowaWORKS.gov. And next we want to show signing up for an event in IowaWORKS. So again, always more than one way to do things. You can go down to the calendar here in the widgets. It's easiest again to go to the icons up here at the top and look at the calendar icon right there, like that, and it'll give you some options here. You can go to events, it'll be the best place to go here. And let's sign up for mock interview at IowaWORKS.gov. So we're going to go here to the section over here for the filter criteria. And our IowaWORKS account is set up for South Central region and Ottumwa, but you're going to have, yours should be set up for your current address. So for instance, if you were in Davenport, you would be in the Mississippi Valley. It should be set up for that. If you're in Des Moines, you should be set up for Central Iowa. If you're in Sioux City, you should be in Western Iowa, all these different regions here. But this practice account is set up for here, and we want to do a mock interview. So we're going to select meetings in the event category and go down here and select filter. Now it's going to filter all the things that are labeled as a meeting in IowaWORKS. So we're here. So we have, for instance, we have an interview scheduled for next Tuesday, and we want to brush up our answers to those tough interview questions. We want to try it with the career planner and see how they hit. So we're going to go ahead and schedule for a mock interview on Monday. So we can click that mock interview right there, and it'll show us details of date and time and what it's all about. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So we're going to go ahead and click register in there. And once it gets done registering, we're going to return to calendar. And now it's going to show us that we're registered for that. It's underlined and has registered behind it in parentheses, so we know that we are registered for that slot in our IowaWORKS calendar. That's as simple as it is. So let's go back to the dashboard. Now we're going to sign up for a workshop in IowaWORKS, virtual workshop. We can sign up in IowaWORKS as well. So we're going to go ahead again and click calendar and events. Now, we want to register for a workshop. So we're going to go back to our filter, our event category over here, and select workshop training and hit filter. And we want to register for navigating ageism in your job search next Monday. So let's click that right there, and it'll give us all the details and what that workshop is all about. It'll give us dates and times of that workshop. Yeah, that's going to work just fine. That's what we want to do. So we're going to go ahead and click register. And once it gets done registering us, we'll return to calendar. And there we are. It's underlined and has registered behind it. We know that we are registered for that event in IowaWORKS. Now, if we return to the dashboard and click calendar right there, it'll show us what we're signed up for. On 9/8, we're signed up for a mock interview, and we're signed up for navigating ageism in your job search. So we're registered for 2 events there. We can see that right there in our dashboard of our events. So that's as simple as it is for registering for events in IowaWORKS.gov. So go back to the dashboard here, and it's going to bring us back. The last thing we want to demonstrate is doing an assessment in IowaWORKS.gov. And this is one of my favorite features in IowaWORKS. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go down to the widgets and career services. We're going to look for the one that says career services, and we're going to hit Career Explorer right there. Click on that link, Career Explorer, in the career services widget. Now this is going to bring us to an area where there's 7 different assessments we can do right here in IowaWORKS. We can assess our knowledge, we can match our skills to jobs, match our knowledge of tools and technology, occupation. My favorite two are match your work interests and match your work values to jobs. And we're going to demonstrate how this works here. So we're going to go ahead and click match your work interests. And it's going to bring us to a work interest analyzer here in IowaWORKS. Now this analyzer is going to ask us a series of questions, which we're going to answer with strongly dislike, dislike, unsure, like, or strongly like. We're going to answer those questions in one of those ways. So it's going to ask us whether we like to do this certain activity in a job. And you're not going to worry about whether you actually know how to do that specific thing, or how much education or training it takes to do that work, or how much money you would make doing it. Basically, just does it sound interesting to you? Now, there's two different assessments we can take, a short form, which is 60 questions, a mini form, which is 30 questions. I say don't cut corners on yourself. Take the short form, the longer one. It's going to be a better assessment that way. Now, it's going to ask a series of questions. Would you like to build kitchen cabinets? Would you strongly dislike, dislike, unsure, like, or strongly like? Now, you want to avoid unsure as much as possible. Answer too many unsures, it's going to make you go back and decide either way anyhow. It's going to be a better assessment if you go one way or another on these questions. So it's going to ask questions like build kitchen cabinets, lay brick or tile, conduct chemical experiments, perform rehabilitation therapy. So here's the first 20 questions. We can go to the next page. It's going to ask 20 more questions. Operate a beauty salon or barber shop, operate a calculator, all the way down to the bottom, work in a biology lab, and go to the next page. The last 20 questions. Write scripts for movies or television shows, perform jazz or tap dance, and scroll down to the bottom of those. Stamp, sort, and distribute mail for an organization. So go through all 60 questions, answering whether that interests you or not. And then finally, we're going to view score. Now obviously this assessment was taken by someone else already, so it's going to rate you in 6 different interest areas based on those questions. So you could be high or low in realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, or conventional. Well, what does that mean? So we're going to click on realistic. People with realistic interests like work that includes practical, hands-on problems and answers. Often people with realistic interests do not like occupations that involve paperwork or working closely with others. They like working with plants and animals, real-world materials like wood, tools, and machinery, and outside work. All right, so that's what that means, and you could go on and read up on each of these 6 different interest areas. Okay, well, that's all fine and good, but how does that relate to searching for a job? So what we're going to do is click Next. Now, it's going to return jobs in the job search based what's highest in those interest areas. So it's going to match what your interests indicate you like to do with what the jobs indicate those interest areas are high in. Again, this is a practice account. This is not a live account. It's not related, to any current jobs out there. So all these jobs had to be hand input. You're going to get a lot more returns on these jobs over here on the right side, the job openings based on that date, in a live account, which you're going to have. But let's look, there's going to be some here in our interest areas, and it's going to rate them in strong, moderate, or low match, or weak match for the different interest areas. So we're going to go back up to the top where the strong ones are and look at some of these job returns that come here. So here's one with a strong match, pharmacy aide. So we're going to go ahead and click pharmacy aide, and we're going to read up on that, show the labor market information. Is it in high demand? Is it in low demand? What skills are required for this job? How much would I make doing it? All that labor market information is done for you, and it's right there in that click. So interacting with others, work output, it's going to show you where the jobs are. It's going to show you where the advertised openings are in Iowa by county. It's going to show you what the typical wages are, the supply and demand. All that labor market information done for you at your fingertips right there in IowaWORKS. And the beauty of it is, when you're searching for those jobs that match your interest areas, you might think, I've never thought about that, but I think that would be interesting. I think I could be good at that job. and you can read up on it, and it might open up a whole new area of employment that you hadn't considered before, just based on what your interests are. And so you can go through this assessment with your interest areas. You can also do work values, and I'll show you again where they live. Let's go back to the dashboard. And we're going to go down here to the widgets, to Career Services widget and Career Explorer. And there's 7 different assessments there. Match your work interests are right there. And you can do that work interest analyzer and see how your interest areas match up to the world of work. And it might open up doors to employment areas you hadn't considered before. And it's just another tool you can use in your job search, and maybe find a very rewarding career in something that you hadn't even considered before. So we'll go back to the dashboard there, and those are the things we wanted to demonstrate in your IowaWORKS.gov account, and hope that helps you in some way today. So here's a graph that shows the Iowa skills job versus labor. So Iowa has been for several years experiencing a middle skills job gap. So this is Iowa's jobs versus workers by skill level. This is from 2020 and 2021. But check out this graph here. So what's this graph telling us? So first of all, we need to find those broad definitions. Low-skilled jobs, I should say, are jobs that require a high school education or less in order to fill that job. Now, a middle skill job would be some sort of credential beyond high school. Again, think CDL, think CNA license, bookkeeping certificate, help desk technician, something like that, some sort of credential beyond high school. And high skill jobs are college degree or above. Now, if you look at this graph, high skill jobs versus high skill workers, 35% to 37%, pretty much a one-on-one match there. Nothing much to see there. Go down to the low-skilled jobs versus low-skilled workers. 13% of jobs are considered low skill, that is high school diploma or less. But this is where 31% of the workers are in their skills. So there's about 2.5 workers for every job out there considered low skill. So there's a lot of competition for these low-skilled jobs. But look up here in the middle-skilled jobs versus middle-skilled workers. A little over half the jobs, 52% of jobs, are considered middle skill. They need some sort of credential beyond high school. But only about 1/3 of the workers, 32% of the workers, are here. This is where the better pay and better benefits are, up here in the middle skill jobs. And what Iowa's trying to do is move people from the low skill worker area up to the middle skill workers. So you think of the GAP tuition assistance program, you think of Title I, think of these programs that are designed to get workers trained and out working. These programs are designed to get people from the low skill worker to the middle skill worker. So again, this is where the better job and pay and benefits are. So Iowa's trying to move people from here, where there's a lot of competition, to up here where there's less competition and better pay. So what you want to do is assess where you're at in your job search, assess the gaps you have in your skill set, determine what's specifically needed to bridge that gap so you can access those great opportunities with the better benefits and pay. So take time to assess where you're at with your skill set, determine what you need to open up more job opportunities for yourself. Those assessments we looked at in IowaWORKS can help identify what jobs may be a good fit for you. Again, jobs you may not have thought of before. Find out what you need for new skills and how to get there. IowaWORKS can help you find out where you may be able to get those skills or education, and explore with you funding opportunities that might be available to you to access those opportunities. If you've been looking for work for a while, you may have already identified some of those barriers to success. Maybe you need to get your high school equivalency. That'll open a lot of doors for you. Maybe you can learn the English language better, or maybe you lack a specific career skill, a certification, some sort of credential to get you over that hump and get that better job. Talk it over with a career planner at your local IowaWORKS office, and they may be able to direct you to the right person or partner program that can help you get there. So that was a lot of information about job searching and upskilling and getting those right credentials for that next better job. Let's talk about some of the other workshops offered by IowaWORKS.gov that can help you along with your job search. So first of all, it's maintain a positive attitude. You might be wondering, I've been unemployed for a while. What's happening to me? How do I handle stress? What do I need to do to move forward? You can get a new outlook in your job search, hopefully, attending the Maintain a Positive Attitude virtual workshop. Develop a career plan and research industry trends. What are the skills needed for the jobs you want? Do you need additional training to achieve those employment goals? What opportunities are in demand out there in Iowa and nationwide? And assess some current skills you may have and what you might need. Create a plan, discover the tools out there to put that plan into action. All that's covered in Develop a Career Plan and Research Industry Trends, offered once a month on a Monday afternoon. Create a great resume. What type of resume is better for you? Do you want a chronological resume, a functional resume, maybe a combination? What's a skill summary? What's a qualification summary? How do I write that? And how do I tailor that resume to the specific job that I'm applying to? We'll run through all of these things and create a great resume, help you get that great resume out there to hopefully land that next job. Great place to start is Create a Great Resume, a virtual workshop through IowaWORKS. Conduct a job search. Learn about effective job search methods, universal application. What is that? And how do I create one? Get some application tips and get the personality test and other assessments, some best practices out there for those assessments, and conduct a job search that's offered through IowaWORKS, another virtual workshop. You might be wondering, why is interviewing so hard? What kind of questions will they ask? How do I answer those questions? Interview 101 is a great workshop to get some of those questions answered. You also learn about the STAR method, incorporating the situation, task, action, result. Learn about how to dress, how do I follow up, how do I prepare for a virtual interview. We'll get through some of those questions and a whole lot more in Interview 101. Here's a whole list of virtual workshops being offered through IowaWORKS. Bring Your A Game, Parts 1 and 2. This is talking about those soft skills that employers want so badly in their workers and those 7 A qualities that they're looking for in workers. Completing your weekly certifications, talking about completing those and getting your unemployment claim going. Conduct a job search, create a great resume, develop a career plan, and research industry trends. The Emerge virtual workshop. If you are justice involved, this is a great workshop to learn how to write that letter of explanation, how to answer those tough interview questions. Essential tools for job seekers, you just watched that. Interview 101. Maintain a positive attitude. Military Members Power Hour. Again, if you're a military member, veteran, or spouse of a veteran, we thank you for your service or your support of a service member. This is a series of workshops aimed directly at military members in areas such as resume, interviewing, job searching, soft skills, things like that for military members in Military Members Power Hour. The mock interview workshop. It's not an actual mock interview, but talking about why is a mock interview important? How do I sign up for one? And what are the benefits of a mock interview? We'll cover that on mock interview. Navigating ageism in your job search. If you think ageism is a thing in your job search, you might want to take advantage of this workshop and find out how to age-proof your resume and overcome some other barriers having to do with your age and why it's a benefit and not a bad thing in your job search. Next level resumes and cover letters. You created a good resume and create a great resume, and now you take it to the next level. Registered apprenticeship, we talked about that a little bit. We'll talk about how to find a registered apprenticeship, what are the benefits of that, and where to go and how to get ready to go into a registered apprenticeship in that workshop. Smart Planning for Your Money, a series of workshops on the topic of money offered once a month. State of Iowa job applications. If you're considering applying for a job in the state of Iowa, how you complete a resume and the application, much different than a regular job. Find out the tips and tricks of this in State of Iowa job applications. Virtual Job Club, Wednesday afternoons at 1:30. Some series of rotating topics there. And those would include building success in IowaWORKS.gov, business panel, job fairs, LinkedIn, negotiating a successful job offer, the power of ONET, and who would you hire? And a couple of workshops offered in Spanish, essential tools, and interview and negotiate. Here's contact information on IowaWORKS offices located around the state of Iowa. They're in Burlington, Cedar Rapids, Council Bluffs, Creston, Davenport, Decorah, Denison, Des Moines, Dubuque, Fort Dodge, Iowa City, Marshalltown, Mason City, Ottumwa, Sioux City, Spencer, and Waterloo. We hope you enjoyed the workshop today. If you have any other questions that may have come up during the course of this workshop today and need answers to those questions, feel free to visit one of these IowaWORKS offices in person and hopefully get your question answered there. It was a pleasure having you here today. Again, my name is Dwayne Kreinbrink from the Sioux City office, and thanks for joining me today, and have a great day.